Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Johnny Lewis Brown. So this video is a long time coming. I'm actually going to talk about The Wire. In HBO series The Wire, I played Officer Eddie Walker.
Officer Walker.
Let's get into it. All right, so in HBO's The Wire, I actually auditioned for that TV show twice, 2 different seasons. For some reason, the casting director in New York did not accept our submissions. So we decided to backdoor that casting office and go to Baltimore to audition for the show. In 2002, 2003, season 2, I auditioned for some kind of political reporter, and then I got a call back and it ended up turning into a police officer. So after I got the call back, I read for the police officer, and lo and behold, I landed the role. They called my manager and said, listen, this role has a possibility of being expanded in the future. So this is really good for Johnny, etc., etc. So we were all excited. I show up on the scene, and of course, my first scene is with Wendell Pierce, Lance Reddick, and Sonia Song of The Wire.
Whoa. Why? We're supposed to take the door and get in quick.
Calm enough down. Ain't like they're gonna flush a half dozen whores down the toilet.
Who is it?
Baltimore Post.
What do you want?
To lock your ass up.
It was amazing. We ate lunch together, we rehearsed together, a lot of jokes were cracked. It was a ridiculous time, but it was very serious at the same time. And it was my first scene. And meanwhile, those actors were there for months, right? Already at a time and already familiar with each other. We shot the scene, it went really well. I had camaraderie with everyone. The feedback was really good. Having said that, they said the role has the possibility of being expanded, right? Well, after that, a year goes by, I don't hear anything from the writers, from the producers, nothing. So I just moved on. I just said, okay, been there, done that. Let's try to get something else rolling here. Of course, about a year and a half later, I get a call from the same casting director in Baltimore that they want to see me again for The Wire. And immediately I pushed back, me and my manager, because we heard that if you're already cast in The Wire, they were not going to cast you again. I just didn't want to take that 2.5-hour drive down to Baltimore for nothing. I just said, are you sure? I don't think this is going to work. And they said, no, they specifically asked for you. You got to show up. This is what it is. It's a new script, a new role. I said, okay. I was a little nervous about it. So I drive down there and I show up. I go in and I see at least had to be like 50 people on the list that went before me to audition for this role. So I'm literally like almost dead last. And I go into the room and I see the producers, the writers, the script supervisor. The casting director is Pat Moran. And she's welcomed me in and she introduces me to all of them. And I say, thank you for having me. You know, I go to meet them, shake their hands, and I sit down and we start reading the script. When I start reading, I'm knocking it out. On the tip of my brain, I had all the lines memorized, probably within 20 to 25 minutes, and I'm just knocking them out one after the other. When I got done reading, I knew it was a good reading, but then I looked up and I saw the looks on their faces, and I kind of knew. I was like, that's a look of satisfaction. So I just said, thank you for having me. I get up and I go to walk out, and I thank the casting director for having me as well. I closed the door, and when I closed the door, I could still hear them through the door, and I hear someone say, well, that was worth the wait. So I kind of knew. I was like, oh, I got excited like really quick. And I just started beaming all the way to my car. And I get in the car, I call my manager and I said, Kathy, I said, listen, I said, the audition went really well. And I said, I think whatever it is, I think I got it. And she said, from your lips to God's ears. And I just started laughing. I said, okay, well, just wanted to let you know, I got a 2.5 hour drive, so I'll talk to you later. She said, okay. And I hang up the phone, and lo and behold, about 25 minutes later, she's calling me back and she says, they love you. They want to book you for the role of Officer Eddie Walker. And we just screamed and everybody was like cheering. And I just remember like trying to keep the car straight. And Kathy said they almost didn't book you because you're so nice, they didn't think you could play the role. And I was like, huh? I said, this is called acting. She said, yeah, I know. But she was like, they just didn't think that you had it in you, and then you just changed their minds after you started reading. So I said, all right, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I auditioned for the show twice, landed roles on the show twice, which never happens in the business. And basically they took that role that I had and they did expand it, but they expanded it like 1.5 years later, which really doesn't happen either, instead of expanding it within the same season. So having said that, I started shooting. I didn't know any of the script in advance. They keep everything secret. So they give it to you in your trailer, before you hit the makeup trailer, before you hit breakfast, etc. And they expect you to have it down, right? This is being professional. You got to knock it out the park and you got to get it down. And you're having basically a different director each episode. But having said that, the first couple scenes of this police officer, Officer Eddie Walker, it was crazy. They had every scene, they had me doing something crazy.
I ain't do nothing.
Then why you running?
Cause you chasing me.
Yeah, right. What's your name?
For real, man, I ain't do
I
nothing.
wanna hear that shit. What's your goddamn name?
Randy,
Randy what?
Wagstaff.
Well, I know you ain't lying. Would nobody make that shit up? Put your hands against this fucking wall. Come on. What do you know about hoppers bailing from a stolen car?
Nothing.
Little motherfucker.
Seriously, like
swear to God.
robbing kids of their money, taking bootleg movies away from homeless people.
Officer. How you doing, officer? Man, can you help me out, please? Yeah, I just got robbed. Thank you, man. They all saw it. Everybody was here witnessing everything.
Took your money?
Yeah, man, same guy every day, you know? He went down the alley towards Payson Street. You cut him off on Lafayette.
You can't sell on the street without a license. And these movies, it's copyright infringement.
Come on, man.
It's a hefty fine.
That's about 10.
And it was just like, what's going on here, with this police officer? I thought that this guy worked for the Western District. He was going to be like the other cop, sort of part of that investigative team. And essentially he was just rogue. He was like on his own, had his own agenda, his own missions. Having said that, 2 months go by, we're filming and things are rolling. All of these scenes that I'm doing, they're kind of tense. And this character, who's this officer, he's really has his own code, his own thoughts, and he doesn't go by the book. I was just noticing that, and as an actor, I'm very sensitive. I went to David Simon and I went to Ed Burns and I kind of said, okay, what is this guy doing? And they said, don't worry about it. You're doing a good job. Just keep going. So I just said, okay. And we got into another episode. I think it was Misgivings. This episode, the director was Ernest Dickerson. And Ernest Dickerson basically is a legendary director in the business. He directed Juice. He directed Bulletproof with Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans, Never Die Alone with DMX. In that episode, I went to Ernest and I said, this character, you know, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? And what I was really trying to do with Mr. Dickerson was trying to give him some ideas to basically make this character a little bit more redeemable and a little bit more likable. And he was like, nah. He was like, nah, you just keep doing what you're doing. Like, this is what it is. Like, this is who this cop is. During the shooting of Misgivings, that shoot got a little intense for me. I actually got a headache from playing this character, like for real, like almost like a migraine headache from playing Officer Walker. And it all started from the morning that I showed up from the hotel and I landed to the set and I looked at the script, and this cop chases these kids down and he's supposed to break this kid's fingers. And I was like, what is he doing? Like, I couldn't believe it. And the kid that plays the character Donut, he got really nervous that morning too. He read the script and he was like, my fingers, and he went to his mother and says, this guy really gonna break my fingers. So he was scared. I was like, I had a headache. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what are we trying to say? What are we doing? It made me go to Ed Burns and David Simon. And I said, listen, you guys got to tell me, like, I literally have a headache from playing this dude. Like, what am I doing? Where are we going with this? And David just smiled. And Ed Burns, he was seated. They had director's chairs. He was seated and then he stood up and he put his big hand on my shoulder and he was like, Johnny, don't you worry about a thing. You'll know everything in due time. You just keep doing what you're doing. And it made me feel better for like a couple seconds until we had to actually shoot that scene. It was fun to an extent because with Officer Walker, one of the things that I could do as an actor, I'm a precision driver. So I got a chance to throw the police car around. Didn't need a stunt person to do it.
I got a foot chase on a #1 male, maybe 13 years, short with braids, in the alleys eastbound from Fulton. 16, bail out, bail out! Motherfucker, fuck!
Officer, what are you doing?
What, you need bifocals or something?
What?
Basically, that was the fun part. And then after that, it was time to shoot the scene where Officer Walker catches Donut and then he breaks the kid's fingers. Here's what happened though. The kid who played Donut, he was very concerned that morning. So me and him, we rode the van over together to the set. I sat beside him and I put my arm around him and I just said, listen, I said, this is your scene. This is your time to shine. I said, I'm really just gonna be there. This is your scene. You make it happen. I'm just gonna pretend like I'm doing this, that, and the other, and you don't worry about a thing. And we nailed it.
16200 North.
I'm gonna need your name.
Listen, I'm very sorry, ma'am, all right?
Let me get that. Now, see, them expeditions are hard to handle. But with Alexis, man, I wouldn't have no problem.
Little motherfucker. You know how many cars you hit?
What?
Don't even think of bullshit.
I don't know what she's talking about.
You know what kind of fucking paperwork I got now? Huh? You know how many hours of my life you owe me? You little shit?
Damn, yo, that hurt.
You think that hurts?
No.
You're so smart. Let's see how easy you boost a car now.
It worked out. It turned out to be one of the most infamous scenes in television history. For a period after that, I would say about 3 years, from 2006 to about 2009, I couldn't walk anywhere around this country without somebody saying, "Yo, you're that cop. I can't stand you. You are terrible. This, that, and the other." So yeah, as you can see, playing Officer Walker was crazy. It was a crazy good experience as well. I got a chance to work with some really gifted and talented actors. Michael K. Williams, Andre Royo, Lance Reddick, Dominic West, Wendell Pierce. I mean, these actors, I just was absorbing and learned so much from them with the time that I had with them. And I just want to thank them personally, publicly as well. Michael K. Williams, I just want to say, may he rest in peace. And he's gone way before his time for sure. I just want to say he's one of the most gifted and talented actors, just incredible spirits that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting and working with in person on any set.
Grab the wall.
Officer Walker. I ain't gonna be out here strapped. Oh, you gonna take that on the humble? Boy, you don't know there's rules to this here game. Rules? Yeah.
Where your shotgun at, Mr. Omar?
What is wrong with y'all, man? You only got no charges here.
Charge is murder, motherfucker.
Murder? Who I kill?
Hey, Omar.
You know what the hell going on here, yo?
You tell me. We got a warrant for a robbery murder in a store.
Wagons here.
Hey, yo, but no, I need a phone, yo. Fuck. I'm going to book it. I need to make a call tonight, yo. 410-958-6612. And let it ring. Here. Yo, Butcher, I'm locked up, yo. Nah, ain't no bail. They saying it's murder. Yeah.
Some kind of Democrat or what?
Playing Officer Walker, it got real. I mean, it got to the point where in between shoots, they had to cover me up with a long, like, trench coat looking type blanket thing so that the people in Baltimore were starting to think that I was a real cop. So they had to cover me up in between shooting. Once I got to the last episode of shooting for Officer Walker, that is when Edward Burns came to me and he said, Johnny, I just want you to know that the role that you played in this series is a real cop. And he's currently on trial right now for just about everything that we had you do in these scenes. And I was shocked. I was just like, what? And he said, yeah. He said, you did a wonderful job. And he said, I just wanted to thank you. And that blew me away. So yeah, I don't know if the real officer has the same name or not. Don't know that in terms of that detail, but he did tell me that. And that was something that I wanted to share with you guys. So I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Even those who are not subscribed, thank you for your viewership and for liking my videos. I ask you that you please subscribe to the channel to help me grow and get these stories out here. So I thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Ghosts.